finger at me, you don't know why.
Nosfero is a supernatural hero that is a cross between The Shadow, Peter Cushing's Abraham Van Helsing, and Lovecraft's Henry Armitage. The lone surviving member of the secret holy order, he is sworn to battle a cult of vampires dedicated to opening the door to the eldritch gods they worship. Striking from his crypt lair deep within an impenetrable mire, Nosfero collects the cult's various grimoire and artifacts in an attempt to learn the means of defeating them. Nosfero, meaning Iron Nose, underwent the ritualistic binding to the spirit world, wherein members of the secret order have a shard from a holy sword driven through their noses to allow them to access supernatural abilities. One such ability allows Nosfero to summon Phantomas, a giant phantom hound that can travel through the Nether to and from any location when needed. With no worldly attachments beyond his devotion to God, Nosfero's world is forever changed when he rescues a beautiful young maiden named Laurel from one of the cult's vile sacrificial rituals. Nosfero the Cryptwalker Volume 1 is my third Indiegogo campaign and will be a fully painted and lavishly illustrated pulp adventure story. Sensational, vivid, and uncompromisingly aspirational storytelling with an edge. Don't miss your chance to back Nosfero the Cryptwalker Volume 1, available for a limited time only on Indiegogo.
There's a fire beneath my skin. There's a fever that makes me ill. Gotta love, a love that kills. I got 24 hours to live. Come back. I'm down on my knees. Come back. I'm begging you, please.
Hey everybody, how you doing? Welcome to Shanthan Jetty Art. I am Shanthan Jetty, and this is me working. So I have been appearing on a lot of streams the last couple of days. I've been on 3 different streams in the last 3 days, so I wanted to check back in here and do a stream. I realize that it is late or early depending on where you're living. It's about 1:23 here. I have no idea if anyone else is streaming. I haven't had a second to check because I've just been, working and catching up with stuff here. But I'm just doing some detailing work, really relaxed stream. Don't know how long I'm gonna go. But if you're catching this later, thanks for checking it out. We are a couple days out from the end of the first 30 days of the Nosfero campaign. If you have not backed it yet, please do. And go check out the book if you love pulp. I've got a new trailer that's at the start of this live stream. It's also up on the Indiegogo page. You can click the link in the description to get to it. And finally bit the bullet and did a voiceover, which is always nerve-wracking. I didn't have Andy Smith to help me out on that. I should have contacted Andy about that. But yeah, it's been crazy. Hey, what's up, B-Rose? How you doing? Hey, little brother. How are things? But yeah, just doing some detailing work here on the costume and getting the textures in there. And one of the things I kind of realized the other day while I was working on this is there's a lot of artwork that you keep in your head that you see when you're young. And one of the pieces that I saw when I was in school, in college, was a Punisher painting that was done by Mobius. And there was this really great kind of weird texture that Mobius does that I totally steal on all my stuff. And that Punisher piece is influencing this work right now, so it's kind of funny. But Punisher was the first comic I ever got, at a comic shop anyway. First comic book I technically got was the old colorized black and white Eastman Laird Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles first graphic novel. But the first trip to a comic shop was to get the Mike Zeck Punisher Limited Series. And so I was super into Punisher. My good friend in middle school said to me, I guess that would have been 7th grade, said, my character is the Hulk, and he had a pin, a little pin that we'd put in our ball caps, And he goes, what character do you want? And I saw the skull, symbol for the Punisher, and it had the Punisher written underneath it in that great kind of 80s font that they had. I said, I'll be that guy. And then I got super into it. Kind of how comics work sometimes, I think. And here I am still putting well, even though it's not a skull, putting a skull. It's not the stream quality, is it? Let me just check. Okay, high quality mode, stream size. Interesting. I'm not sure what's going on. I think my Wi-Fi's just been acting up lately. If it's, if it keeps getting really bad, let me know. Let's take a look here and show you. This will focus. There we go. Yeah, let me just see. But this is a look at how much the work I do is based on, the stuff that I learned when I was working in pen and ink. And that's been a huge part of my work. You can see there's a lot of line work, and it's still very much comic book based and comic book inspired. It's still based. Is the point I'm making there. My work is still very based. So let's see here. Look at those eyes. That's terrifying. But that's the goal. It's a pretty intense character. But yeah, it was nice to kind of get this story trailer out there, because I think that, every time someone would ask me, to go into details about the comic, I was floundering a little bit, and I was thinking, gosh, I need to just do a video that explains it. And so I just sat down and did a narration, which is tough because, I don't know, I cannot stand, can't stand the sound of my voiceover. So it's just, you have to kind of bite the bullet because people have to figure out what the book's about. And that's one of the things that I've learned a lot during this process. Like, I was realizing that, it's a nonstop series of things that you have to just kind of make peace with in order to be able to get the word out about the book. And for me, that was the big thing that I was running into, which is, you just got to do those things. You got to do the voiceovers. You got to do all that other stuff. Let's see if I can adjust the camera positioning. Let's see here. Zoom it out again just so it's a little easier for me on this end. I'm going to shrink this down. I don't know why I'm so big in frame, too. It's not necessary. There we go. That's a little better. There we go. It's a little easier to get the artwork in there. Let's see if we can get this to... See if that improves things a little bit. I don't think anybody is using the internet in my house, so it just could be we're having bad internet right now. Who knows? But we'll see. And I'll move that back over there. There we go. But you know how it is. Internet gets dodgy. At some point, I'm going to need to probably unplug and plug it back in. Oh, yeah, totally. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's... How cool is that when a character gets to a point to where everybody's got a favorite rendition of the character? And they, it's funny, every time I talk to somebody, I'll hear a different person cite their favorite Punisher artist. And that's the kind of thing to where there have been a lot of really great contributing artists on something, and something's an icon when there are multiple eras that have influenced people and got people into the character. I actually like, even though I know some people wish the Punisher was more Punisher-like, I really liked John Bernthal's, portrayal of the Punisher in that TV series. I loved that series for the first season. I just didn't like the second season. I just thought that, having Jigsaw seemingly just have minor injuries on his face was really a letdown. I thought that the portrayal of that character was fantastic up until that point, and then I just was like, I just can't watch it. It was a little too ridiculous for me. That he was more or less unscathed when we watched that pretty brutal fight at the end of the first season, so... But, that's how it is. I mean, those are things you can do in comics sometimes a lot easier than you can do them in live action. Although I do have to say that I remember I was talking to somebody who worked at Hasbro. And this must have been, I shudder to think, it must have been like a decade ago at this point. Or more, which is a little bit, it's kind of amazing to think about. But he was talking to me and he said, the reason why we can't really make G.I. Joe as a property work is because the whole military angle, the whole guns angle, like, it just can't sell now. And I thought, or you could make G.I. Joe about G.I. Joe and just go for it, which is really strange because right now I feel like G.I. Joe is having a massive comeback because people are just finally letting it be what it is. So yeah, it's an interesting kind of thing, and I think that it's hard to imagine how they would do a Punisher now. Yeah, I think anti-heroes can be incredibly cool. the real trick is how do you write them? Like, there's got to be a little bit of humanity and pain and drama in there a little bit, and that's the thing I'm kind of writing right now. With this character, I want this character to be dark, but not dark in the sort of nihilistic sense, the Watchmen sense, where it's kind of like it's so dark it doesn't even matter. When I'm doing this stuff, I'm always thinking about it in terms of it feels no different to me than doing Photoshop work. Interestingly enough, I'll just go over it and to me it's just like adjusting the opacity as I work. So I'll go in and throw a darker layer down, and then I'll move things over, and and then of course the writing is the other aspect of this, which is really fun. Whenever I hit a point to where I'm like, all right, I need to take a break, rest my eyes from doing the drawing, I just switch over to the writing part, which is the fun thing about doing all of this work, is that I can always just, it's a lot of fun to do this kind of stuff, and I'm really excited about the book. And you guys have been so fantastic supporting it and getting the word out there. No, it's not the supplemental, I forget what it's called, the Visions book, the John Malin Visions book for Graveyard Shift. And I got a chance to see, even though it was over the internet, I got a chance to see the the pinup piece that I did for John Malin. So that was a lot of fun. So let me see here. I think I'm having a ton of lagging issues here. Hang on a second, guys. Options, high quality. Let me just see what we're set here for. Hang on a second. I may restart the stream, so hang on one second here.